Hello everyone, so this week I would like to review a book which I've used in one of my courses that I've taught because I'm a French tutor, in case you didn't know. And the course I taught was a holiday French course which lasted for about 10 weeks. So it was about 15 hours long, so it's a very short course. And the aim of the course was not to teach extensive grammar or vocabulary or anything like heavy, in content. It was really to help students to be able to get by when they go to France as tourists, really. So the book I used for my course and which I will review today is this one. So it's called Talk French, the ideal course for absolute beginners. I will use my notes for this video because I wanted to not do something kind of rushed and to improvise. So they are here. So if you see me look down, you know why. So the first good thing about the book that I like is the fact that it's basic, useful, but also very practical because it covers quite a wide range of topics. So the book is made up of 10 units. So for example, there's one about how to order cheese or how to buy vegetables in a market. One about asking where things are and giving directions and understanding directions, booking a room in a hotel and that kind of stuff. So very holiday-y, I guess you could say. So I like the fact that the sentences are very basic. So typically each unit will be divided in about 4 to 6 pages and it will contain vocabulary, which you will see on the top here. So key phrases, sorry, it's here. And then it comes with a CD, so you have the tracks so you can listen to the phrases, you have some listening activities, which is good. And so basically you have vocab on top and then some activities, vocab on top, some activities, and so on and so forth. And then at the end of each unit, you've got some kind of assessment of whether you understood what was going on, really. So that's good. So I like the fact that it's very basic and simple and helpful because it teaches you the very basic sentences. So you have stuff like comment vous appelez-vous, je m'appelle, excusez-moi, enchanté, etc., etc. So there's obviously quite a lot of phrases that is covered in the book. A downside, though, I would say, is that there isn't enough grammar. So as I said, it's not really the point of the book to teach you extensive grammar. There is some grammar, but it's very basic and it doesn't really go into much detail, which can be okay, especially for those that really just want to be able to get by in France and that's it. But for those of you that want to learn French, properly, I'm not saying this book is bad. I'm just saying that you should quickly move on to something that's more grammatically centered, if that makes sense. Just so you know, but that's a good way to introduce yourself to French because it's quite easy and it doesn't, try to confuse you with lots of crap, basically. But the thing about not having enough grammar is that if you're with a teacher, that's fine, but if you're on self-study, it might mean that you will have to ask someone else to explain it to you some bits or have a look on the internet. So it's not all the time. I'm not saying you will always be confused, but every now and then, I think it requires a bit more of explanation in the grammar, even though it's meant to be basic, if that makes sense. So another good one, so I will do good and bad. The good thing is there's a variety of exercises and listening activities. So as I said, on each page, pretty much every page there's an exercise. So it's quite a lot considering that the book is over 144 pages. So there's quite a lot of exercises and at the end of each unit there's like 3 pages of revision and after every 3 or 4 units there's a big kind of exam, if you will, about the previous units. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's quite a good way to kind of practice. And there's also listening activities. So that's good as well. You have the CD so you can listen to French and that's quite good to practice pronunciation and kind of be immersed in the language as well, I think. So 2 important things, obviously, when you learn a language. But the downside of that is I don't think there's enough exercises. And in fact, I think the exercises sometimes are a bit short. So in fact, one of my students in the course did say that, it was a bit short. It was too easy to complete. And I kind of agree with it. And also the listenings sometimes are very short. So some listenings are like 20 seconds long or 30 seconds long. So again, you have to bear in mind that it's supposed to be basic. It's meant to be basic. So don't expect it to be very hard work. So for some of you, that might be a bit annoying. So yeah, just putting it out there. Another thing that I like and that is good is that it's very much speaking centered. I mean, there's a bit of writing, but the main goal of this book is to get you to speak French and to understand French. So it's pretty much based on interaction, spoken interaction, really. So that's a good thing. And in fact, I think books that encourage you to speak can be motivating. That does mean, though, that if you're self-studying, then you can talk to yourself, but that's about it. You won't have this kind of pair work going on that you would probably in a classroom. Something I don't like in the book though is that occasionally the vocab is slightly unnatural. So it's not that the French is bad or it's wrong French, it's just that sometimes there is a better option that is either easier to say or shorter, or that is more natural, that most people will say more than the one presented in the book, or sometimes it's both, but that's kind of rare. So there isn't a lot of stuff, but one thing that struck me, and if you speak a little bit of French you will agree with this, is about asking directions. So typically in French, if I was to ask where something is, I would say something like où est la gare de train, for example. And the question that they give in the book is pour aller à la station. So it's not really a question, it's more like, in English you would say, to go to the station. So it's a bit like implied, it's a bit weird to ask it like that. It's a bit like, to go to the station? It sounds a bit like that. I just think it's a bit weird. So this one was a bit of an odd one. So yeah, that's one of the most striking examples I found in the book, but it's not terrible, it's just kind of a bit odd to say. So another good thing I like about the book, and I think it's really good in fact, is that they add some cultural elements throughout the book. So in the first unit, they write a paragraph about greetings and how the greetings work, the etiquette, what's expected, kissing on the cheeks, which is good to know because to some of you it might seem kind of unnatural, but for us French people it's very normal. So I like that kind of cultural insight, and I use a Japanese book myself, which does include these bits, and I find them very interesting because it gives language meaning and context, I think. And when you speak a language, it's good, to have perfect grammar and stuff, but it's also good to know how to behave. Otherwise you might come across as rude or weird or something like that. So that's good to know. So the last few good things I like about the book is that it's very easy to go through. Which is good. Some of you just want kind of basic French, or it can be a nice way to kind of introduce yourself to French if you're thinking about learning French, but you don't know, really if you would really like it. So that's a good introductory course, I think. So it's definitely good. It doesn't take too much time. It's kind of easy. It's okay, I think, for self-study, providing that maybe you have someone to kind of help you or ask questions to in case you're in doubt or stuck. They also have a BBC Talk French website. Now, it's a bit out of date, but they still have a couple of videos on YouTube. So if you look at BBC Talk French, you'll find some videos which are quite good. A bit old now, but why not? At least it's free content for you. And there's as well the website. And I think having a website or something online with a book is definitely a good plus when you buy a textbook. Because it just means you have the same information in two different ways, and sometimes people respond better to something that is online than just in the book. So it can kind of change, it creates a bit of a change and it's a bit less monotonous, I guess. So yeah, that's a lot of things I actually said about this book, but I kind of wanted to give you my whole opinion and take on the book, I guess. So I hope you find this video helpful. Let me know if you did decide to buy the book or not, and if you did, or if you have used it in the past, let me know what you thought about the book. That'd be quite interesting to share your views. You might not agree with me, and that's fine, but that's just my opinion. So here you go. So I will see you next week, hopefully. So see you later. Bye.